We're here to kick off today's race at the infamous Circuit de Monaco. Drivers will need to be on their top form if they want to take home the win today. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. It's Sergio Perez on pole position today, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Verstappen, Pierre Gasly and Stroll, Tsunoda, Sainz, Norris and Charles Leclerc, Ocon, Fernando Alonso, Sebastian Vettel and Ricciardo, Mick Schumacher, Russell, Kimi Raikkonen and Antonio Giovinazzi, Mazepin and Nicholas Latifi. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track and get this Grand Prix underway.
So here we are in Nikita Mazepin's Haas cockpit. Welcome to this last man standing challenge in F1 2021 at the Monaco Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go. We get a great start, but we'll try to crash out Antonio Giovinazzi. Hopefully he'll be the first person we crash. But sadly he survived it. How did he survive it? Because we crashed right into him. But sadly he did survive it. But now coming into the hairpin, surely we can knock him out here. Everyone is slow. We push him into the wall. And there it goes. His right front tyre is off of his car. And he's the first DNF in this Grand Prix. Get in there. So now we're in lap 2. And we're going to block right up this corner. Sergio Perez comes, crashes into us. And all of the other cars are crashing into us. It's a massive pile-up. Sergio Perez is out of the session. Max Verstappen is out of the session. Valtteri Bottas is out of the session. Pierre Gasly is out of the session. Lance Stroll is out of the session. Yuki Tsunoda is out as well. Charles Leclerc is out. Lando Norris is out. Esteban Ocon is out. Sebastian Vettel is out. Fernando Alonso is out. And Daniel Ricciardo is out of the session. What a massive pile up here. And lots of DNFs. What a great start to this last man standing challenge. Look at all of these crashes. They all knock into each other. Everyone DNFs almost. But Lewis Hamilton somehow stays alive and goes past. He's now the leader of this Grand Prix. Just look at this camera angle. Everybody driving into each other. What a massive pile up here at the Monaco Grand Prix. So here you can see the onboard cameras of all of the drivers who DNF'd here. Sergio Perez, Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen, Valtteri Bottas, Pierre Gasly, Lance Stroll, Yuki Tsunoda, Carlos Sainz, Charles Leclerc, Lando Norris, the two Alpines, Daniel Ricciardo, George Russell, Fernando Alonso, all of these drivers stuck behind us. And now Lewis Hamilton crashes out of the Grand Prix. We blocked him in the same place we DNF'd all of the others. Of course, in the second lap, Lewis Hamilton somehow survived crashing into us, but this time he doesn't, luckily. Now Carlos Sainz comes around. He sadly only pushes us away. He doesn't get knocked out, but now the Williams is coming up next of Nicholas Latifi, and he goes past us as well. That's very disappointing, but now George Russell coming in, he pushes us away as well. But a massive crash here. The Alfa Romeo crashes into us, and our teammates Mick Schumacher and Kimi Raikkonen is now out of the session as well. So here you can see the crashes. The Williams just crashing into us, and then the Alfa Romeo of Kimi Raikkonen flying into us, and our teammate Mick Schumacher got caught up in this as well. So now we're approaching the Monaco tunnel, and right behind us is George Russell. It's wheel to wheel. We crash him out, surely. He's in the wall, and now George Russell has retired from this session as well. Get in there. And we let our teammate Mick Schumacher go past because we hope that we can get a 1-2 in this Grand Prix. So now we're coming through where we knocked out all of the others, and because of that we move into P7 of this Grand Prix. That shows how many we knocked out in this race. So now we're coming along the pit straight and we crash Nicholas Latifi into the wall because of how we've got a puncture. But as you can see, Nicholas Latifi, who was P1 in this Grand Prix, we knocked him out as well. Here we can see a replay. We push him into the wall. He loses his front left tyre. We get a puncture because of a crash. But most importantly, Nicholas Latifi is out of the session, which means another car is out. So now we're going through the Monaco tunnel with a puncture, and I'll let my teammate Mick Schumacher pass us here through the tunnel because I want to get a Haas 1-2 here after we've knocked out all of the other drivers. So we pitted because of a puncture, of course, and with the very cold tyres, we slip and we almost crash out, but luckily I just about saved the car from going into the wall. So now it's Carlos Sainz here against us. We'll push him into the wall again through the tunnel, and we do knock him out. Now Carlos Sainz is out, and the only driver now is Mick Schumacher. Get in there. Here we see a replay coming through the tunnel in Monaco. We crashed Carlos Sainz into the barrier, and he's out of the session as well. The only driver we need to get now is Mick Schumacher. Here's the onboard perspective of Carlos Sainz. He completely gets pushed into the wall. No chance for him to survive this crash. So now we're going to drive through all of this debris, and we get a puncture because of it. The second puncture in this race for us.
We've lost the front
Yeah,
right.
very annoying, and we'll definitely have to pit because of this. So now Mick Schumacher, wheel to wheel with Mick Schumacher. We crash into the wall, and then we push him and we fly into the air. What a massive crash, and we only get a puncture because of this. Mick Schumacher catapults us into the air. What a massive crash here in Monaco. Just watch a replay here. We get catapulted in the air after we tried to push Mick Schumacher into the wall. What a massive crash. Here you can see Mick Schumacher's on board, and he can just see how we fly through the air. But sadly we couldn't knock him out. So here we can see another perspective of this crash. And you can see the crash was so massive that the camera couldn't even follow it. So now in this lap, it's wheel to wheel with Mick Schumacher. We'll try to knock him out in the tunnel. And it's a massive crash in the tunnel. And now Mick Schumacher is out of the session. Get in there. We finally knock out Mick Schumacher in lap 16. He is out of the session. We have a spin there because the whole of the car was damaged. The front wing and of course the underbody of the car. But get in there now with the last car surviving in this Grand Prix. Here's Mick Schumacher's onboard perspective. We push him into the wall, but he survives the first incident. But then when we come back crash into him, that's when he loses his front wing and he's disqualified out of the session. So now in lap 17 of 78, this is where Mick Schumacher retired from the session, and now Nikita Mazepin leads the Grand Prix. Because of that, we now crash out with a 20th car, which has crashed out in this Grand Prix, and now no cars have survived. So now we'll retire from the session, of course, and let's see what happens if we are on the podium or not.
Haas pulling out all the stops today. A great win. Talk to me, Ants. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Well, staying out of trouble was probably the most important factor here. In the race where half the field weren't classified at the checkered flag, you were able to guarantee a good result by basically keeping the car running. With their pace and a decent strategy as well, I don't think the race was ever really in doubt.
So here you can see the race result of the Monaco Grand Prix. Nikita Mazepin wins the Grand Prix ahead of his teammate Mick Schumacher, and then Carlos Sainz in third, but we managed to knock everybody out. Sadly, we didn't get a podium celebration. It would have been great to see Nikita Mazepin on the podium. Here you can see, of course, us, Nikita Mazepin, DNF'd. Mick Schumacher, Carlos Sainz, Nicholas Latifi, George Russell, Kimi Raikkonen, Lewis Hamilton, Sergio Perez, Max Verstappen, Valtteri Bottas, Pierre Gasly, Lance Stroll, Yuki Tsunoda, Sebastian Vettel, Charles Leclerc, Lando Norris, Esteban Ocon, Fernando Alonso, Daniel Ricciardo and Antonio Giovinazzi. DNF'd in this Grand Prix. No driver survived for 78 laps of this Monaco Grand Prix. What a dramatic race, of course, in the second lap where 13 drivers, I think, were tired because, of course, we parked up in this fast corner in the third sector. They all, except of a few, they all crashed out, and then we just had to DNF a few others in the remaining laps. So I think we've successfully completed the last man standing challenge in F1 2021. So if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like it and subscribe to my channel.